It is March 31st, 2025, and this is Hungover Hand, right? Chad Hurlbrink. I'm Jonathan Sawyer. And a big event this past weekend. We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Those Mexican events are always fun.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting fights. We'll talk about all that. Got a lot of news to talk about today. We're going to spend a lot of time on the news, all the stories that you, the listener, have seen all over social media. We're going to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to preview next weekend's UFC event. Not my favorite event of all time, not going to lie.
Yeah. It's a...
And then when we get to the other events for this coming weekend, we're going to talk about PFL. We're going to go a little bit in depth with the PFL, a little bit more in depth than we normally would, because it is the first event of the year. Chad, where did you watch this UFC Mexico City card at?
I watched it at my brother's house on my phone. You know, I was there for the nephew's birthday party and had a bunch of family over, so it was kind of an ordeal to try and listen to fights or watch fights and run around with rascals, you know, screaming and hollering and stuff. But it was a good time. The card is pretty good. You know, from what I've watched, obviously I would have loved to have actually been sitting down by myself or, you know, with just a couple guys.
God, wouldn't it be nice to be by yourself?
Yeah. But yeah, no, other than that, I mean, it was pretty cool.
Just so the listeners know, you will never get invited to as many birthday parties as Chad does.
I got a problem, dude.
He's a very popular birthday guest.
Live party.
Yeah, I watched most of this card today, honestly, and I was at a race last night or 2 nights ago. Oops, 2 nights ago, not tonight, not last night. But yeah, watch the card, most of it today, and yeah, you want to get into it?
Yeah, I'm down.
Alrighty. UFC Mexico City, obviously a ton of Mexican fighters on this card. Kind of mixed bag on their success.
Mm-hmm.
Some weird decisions. First fight of the night, I thought Hubbard won. Austin Hubbard versus Markel Medeiros. I thought Austin Hubbard just controlled him in the wrestling and won. They gave it to Medeiros. Yeah.
There might, I mean, you hate to say it, but they're, you know, hometown kids and stuff like that, or, you know,
I don't think he's Mexican.
I know, but I meant like in the sense of he's got that ethnicity.
Yeah, he's from Texas. He may be Mexican. Yeah. Hubbard, I think Hubbard just is never allowed to win a decision.
Yeah, probably. He's never gotten on the right side of decisions.
And they're always splits too.
Yeah.
So that makes what's the streak now? So he's okay. He's lost two splits in a row.
Damn.
He is now 4-7 in the UFC, and he's going to get cut.
More than likely,
I'm sure of it.
And that's his second. Is that his second stint? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, especially if, I mean, most of your fights are coming via decision, you're probably getting cut.
And especially in this one, he wrestled a lot. He normally doesn't wrestle a lot. The wrestling looked good, but then you still lose, and you didn't bang it out on the feet like you normally do. But speaking of banging it out on the feet, Jamal Emmers knocked the hell out of Gabriel Miranda.
Yeah, he came to play.
Miranda is now 1-3 in the UFC, and yeah, he's lost to Benoit Saint Denis, Morgan Charrier, and Emmers. They're not bad fighters, but it's not going to matter.
No.
He wants to lay on his back and grapple. He got knocked out again. And that was actually the earliest out of the three that he's been knocked out. So
yeah, you're not going to stick around very long if that's what your game plan's, just to, like you said, to be on your back and grapple.
Emmers has always been a weird guy because he literally has a win over Corey Sandhagen in LFA back in the day. He's fought a lot of good guys even outside the UFC. And, you know, 4-4 in the UFC, lost to Nate the Train, lost to Jack Jenkins, Pat Sabatini, who we'll talk about later, and Giga Chikadze. So not terrible losses, I guess, but kind of been plagued with injury, been inactive. But as we saw, he can shut the lights out.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Vince Pichel should have won, I thought. Lost to Hoffa Garcia, unanimous decision. I think 2 judges had it 30-27. Rafa.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah. This is we run into this a lot with the decisions and the judges, and are all of them looking at the same criteria? Do they have like a checklist? Okay, this fighter to win, to get this a number of points, did he control, damage, strikes, all that stuff? Are they just of a blank sheet of paper and like, oh, he did all right the first round. I think he wins. I like him. I know we're all human. There's mistakes and stuff like that, but it happens so much.
There's more human error in this sport than like umping a baseball game.
Yeah,
I mean, which is crazy because it's like a milli-inch difference between a ball and a strike, and these guys, they fuck it up every week.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if there's anything in the works about changing the 10-point must system and all that stuff, but or maybe add a couple judges. Judges have to be former fighters. Maybe make it an incentive for fighters that are getting out or retiring to become judges.
Lieben's doing it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he's barely. I mean, every now and again he'll judge MMA fights, or UFC fights.
Maybe it goes off of commission, obviously, but
yeah, I think it's like a popularity contest with these commissions.
Yeah,
it's like who do you know? How long have you been doing it? There's no track record that matters, type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Vince, obviously 42 years old. He's been around. He was on The Ultimate Fighter in 2012, and I thought he just outworked Hoffa for 2 rounds and did more. But judges disagree. Now, from kind of a shitty fight to actually a really good one, Loopy beats Julia Pilastri. Just couldn't stop landing takedowns first 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Pilastri couldn't stop the takedowns, and then Loopy, she started like fucking with her nose, started like sniffing a lot, and like her mouth was wide open in the third, and I think it really affected her because she got tired.
Yeah,
and Julia Pilastri just started walking Frankenstein style in there, and just landed a lot of punches on her and busted her up, and kind of mounted a comeback at the end. It wasn't enough. She'd already lost 2 rounds. But like, it was actually sick. The third round was badass.
Yeah. Well, Loopy had to take a shit in between rounds, or she was saying she needed to take a shit.
Did she say that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
She was. She's like, "Holy shit, I need to poop." And her corner's like, "Hey, you finish it here. We'll be done. You can take care of it." Like
that kind of explains it. Maybe the third round she was just like, if
I don't want to shit my pants.
Yeah, like I gotta just survive.
Yeah.
And not shit on the cage.
Oh, I can't imagine that feeling of you have like all of a sudden you get bubble guts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're cutting weight, you're not eating a lot, and then you make the weight, and you just go ham.
Yeah,
and you're in Mexico, so you're probably eating.
Yeah, I mean, surely I'm sure they should be eating clean, like to blow up, like nice until after the fight. Then you can shit your brains out.
Yeah.
But maybe she did get a hold of something and her stomach was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, your stomach's not used to food of any kind for a while. And then
lay off the tortas.
Yeah. Yeah, so from one pretty fun fight to a really not fun fight. And unfortunately, I kind of was shouting this fight out beforehand. Melquizael Costa beats Christian Rodriguez. I thought C-Rod won. The commentators didn't.
Yeah, this one was... It was an okay fight, and lots of people are kind of, I've seen on Twitter and, comments and all that shit were kind of agreeing with you. And then some people were like shitting on Christian for like, how are you going to beat all these killers, these up and comer, you can only beat guys with zeros and then lose to like when it comes to fighting obviously Costa's a formidable, guy.
Right.
The guy can throw and bang.
I think it was just weird the way the fight went. C-Rod, normally he's the one defending 800 takedowns a fight, and then he just all he wanted to do was wrestle.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he moved out to Mexico City like I don't know, a while ago. He's been training at altitude. He probably said, "Okay, let's push this guy against the fence and let's get him tired, make him defend takedowns." So Melky's cardio held up good.
Yeah.
And So I don't know. It's just it was a weird game plan for C-Rod. I thought he would want to strike a little more, but it seemed like Melky was the one that was trying to strike. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of cage pushing in that one. Not a lot of cage pushing and not boring.
This one went exactly like I said it was going to.
Chad's boy, Ateba Goudier, knocks the shit out of Jose Medina. Medina was talking to him the whole time.
Yeah.
And just didn't do a thing.
Yeah.
And got knocked out.
Yeah. Exactly how I said it was going to go. And I think Ateba is going to be something. I think that guy's...
We just got to see somebody wrestle him a lot.
We got to see it. And Medina's probably on his way out. He's probably gone.
Yeah. What's that? How many's that in a row? Is it
3? 2 in the UFC.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's 3 contender series he lost, so he's probably gone. I don't know what his contract is.
I think he's headed back to Thunder Fight or Samurai Fight House, one of his other promotions he's been on. This went perfect, in my opinion. Kevin Borjas versus Ronaldo Rodriguez. I told you guys that Ronaldo was probably going to get dropped in the first round like he did against Odie Osborne. That happened, but then I said he was probably going to end up submitting Borjas. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
I was really happy with this, though, because I'm not a fan of Rodriguez. I think he's too wild. And Borjas was just clean as a whistle and just pieced him up.
Yeah, I saw some people, too, complaining about this fight as well.
This decision?
Yeah. I was like, I don't necessarily agree with that at all. I don't...
I thought that was...
I thought Borjas did the job.
I mean, Rodriguez wins via grappling.
Yeah.
And he didn't grapple at all. He just got punched. So
I mean, you even see on his face, like, he was disappointed he got the L, but he was just his whole, when they were reading the scores off, he was like, his whole body language, knew he lost. Yeah,
he's overrated. I mean, I'm guessing the people that are big fans of his they're not thinking he's like going to be a champ necessarily, but he's just like really popular on social media and they root for him for that reason.
Yeah, he talks a lot of shit. And
from one guy that I said last week I didn't like to another guy that I said I didn't like, David Martinez
came out and did the motherfucking thing.
But I told you guys that I don't like him because I don't like his running around style, but it works and I know why he does it. Well, he did it. And Simon Oliveira came flying in there, just no feints, no setting up anything, just slings this right hand, pull 2, bang, drops him.
Got some power, man. That Martinez kid.
Everything's 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he's got really good cardio. Like like I mentioned last week, we've seen him go into the 4th round multiple times. He's got some cardio. Good performance. Simon Oliveira, he's gone. He hadn't fought in like a year and a half, 2 years anyways, or maybe longer than that. I think it was like January 2023 since he had fought last. Comes in here, does his job, loses. Raul Rosas Jr. just does what he does against Vince Morales.
I thought he was in trouble there for a second. I don't know how he survived. I
think the angle was weird. Like
maybe, and then Vince just blew his arms out.
Yeah.
Or just let go and didn't want to blow his arms out. Just, I don't know. But I was like, oh shit.
I guess Vince is like known for those like anacondas and like the Peruvian neckties and those types of chokes. So I guess good on Raul for like not
showing his toughness and
not quitting.
Kept going. He just keeps winning, man.
Yeah.
And they're gonna keep slowly stepping him up. I mean, he's got all the time in the world, all of the time. So I mean, the UFC is slow burning him.
100%.
Yeah, just slow cook.
It's going to be a very, very minimal step up after this, I'm sure too. And he's still ugly. Edgar Chairez. So this was the one that got bumped up to the main card because of the Pyfer Kelvin pulling out, which we should talk about before we leave this card. But Chairez, man, those arms are like freakishly long. He's like got like heavyweight length Francis Ngannou arms. And he really clipped Vergara bad and subbed him.
Yep. Chires is a little dirty himself. He I don't know. Sometimes with him, he almost fight. It's like he fights down sometimes, and then when he faces guys, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but sometimes he fights down. I mean, obviously the loss to Van. I think Chires could be something, but he's
the Van one was like not a blowout though.
No,
like I mean,
no.
I thought Van clearly won, but like especially early, like that first round, Chires was beating him up.
Oh yeah.
So Chires, I think he's more known for the chokes in the ground game, but like he's got them long arms. He can box.
Yeah, I think I think he's still fairly young, isn't he?
29.
29.
So I mean, yeah, like we talked about today's UFC, 29 is pretty young.
Yeah, he's right now getting into his prime.
Yeah.
So if he starts to learn more and more about his hands and stuff and implements that more into his game, he could be something. His record isn't indicative to how good he is, I don't think.
No. And I mean, that Van fight on Noche was fun. He loses, okay. He's blowing up right now. Mm-hmm. So it's, the UFC, he comes in here and gets rid of Vergara quick like he's supposed to. I think the UFC will say, okay, we can get him another Van level, maybe 15th ranked guy type of fight. And, because I'm sure the UFC sees what we see in him too. Co-main, Manuel Torres just clips Dober.
Oh yeah, just
what was it with?
A straight two.
Set two, yeah.
He threw it literally 4 or 5 times in the round. Just a simple 1-2 with his long arms and from a mile away.
That one
sleeps.
We just watched this like right before we started, and that one where he came flying in there with that too, and he missed Dober, and he kind of stumbled over his feet, way out of position. His left hand was down, and I'm just like, man, Dober could have killed him right there. He just didn't throw anything. But no, I mean, Torres, he needed to bounce back from that Bahamundes
he
clinic.
Oh yeah. And he did it. And Dober, we did talk about it before we started. The chin may not be there anymore because he did get hit with a heavy 2, but we've seen the guy take some punishment.
It was weird. It was like those hammer fists. Once he grabbed the ankle, the hammer fists, like, they didn't shut him off completely. They just like
he wasn't in the room.
Like he just couldn't. It just paused him.
Yeah, and he wore 15.
Controller died.
Yeah, and what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name?
Beltran. Yeah.
Hey man, probably stopped the fight a little sooner.
That's not a great stoppage, and that's the type of thing. That's like the King Green when he was Bobby Green, Jalen Turner stoppage, where Bobby's getting slept all the time now.
Yeah.
Dober is probably going to really suffer a lot from that right there.
Oh yeah, and I think it could be the referees going to the fight and they're like, okay, I know this guy. He has recovered before. Maybe they know the fighter. But damn, he wore, 15.
And he like kind of started to go in there.
Yeah, like he wanted to. And he's like, wait, back. I know this guy.
He's like, he's not dead yet.
Yeah.
Jumped out of there.
And how Dober didn't go like completely out.
Yeah. He popped back up and he was wobbly, but like he was still thought he was fighting.
Yeah. He was like, what do you mean you stopped the fight? Why'd you stop it? He had no idea.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how the brain works like that. But good for Manuel to bounce back, but I feel terrible for Dober, man. I think the chin might.
That still doesn't make me confident in Torres long term.
No, I don't. He just gets himself out of position more often than not, just because I think he does believe. Okay, I got pretty good reach, but he extends out of his own reach.
Yeah,
so many times it's crazy.
Well, these guys aren't going to be there. They're not going to be there when your punch gets there sometimes.
Yeah.
So you can't just expect their head to be where your hand's going to be at all times.
And we always say matchups are the big thing in this business.
Yeah.
And he got a good matchup in a guy who's just going to stand in the pocket.
Right.
Like Dober. So
they both make big mistakes, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, Torres, we'll see. I think he's still got a lot to work on because a good a good striker. Even Dober, if Dober doesn't get clipped like that, I think at some point Dober would figure him out and hurt him.
I think so. I would think so too, but it just happened so fast.
All right, main event, Brandon Moreno. So I didn't catch a lot of this one, to be honest with you. Brandon obviously wins a unanimous decision. It seemed like it was a lot of striking.
Yeah, no, it was a good fight. From what I've watched, again, I was on my phone, so didn't get to really sit down and watch it. But I mean, Steve came out and said he wanted it to be a slobber knocker, and it was on the feet for the most part. They both were connecting. Steve did get touched early, and then kind of came back towards the middle, and then at the end, Moreno sealed it in I think the final round, where he hit Steve with like a 6-punch combo at the end, and didn't like hurt him or anything like that to the point where he was wobbling or anything, but clocked him good and put a hell of a combination together to where everybody that was like, okay, yeah, it was pretty close. I think I was telling you 29-28 the whole unanimous decision. Okay. So
he just knows how to win 5-round decisions.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the experience difference over 5 rounds is apparent here.
Oh yeah, he's been there, done that.
And this officially kind of, I was really like worried about Moreno after the Roybal fight in Mexico City, like last year or whatever it was. He looked terrible in my opinion. And obviously he bounces back against Albazi. I didn't think that really meant anything. Honestly, Albazi kind of stinks, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think he might be a little. I mean, he fought Moreno, but maybe that fraud check, kind of thing. Because at one point I was calling for Albazi might be a champ.
I know if he had cardio, which who knows, he may come back and have it, but it's not. It didn't look like it.
Yeah,
against Moreno. But this officially kind of makes me be like, okay, Moreno's definitely like still.
Yeah, he's still there, top of the food chain in that division.
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying like this is what I want to see, or I'd be like super excited about it. But like, I don't hate Pantoja and him again, honestly, because Moreno's going to make it close, and it's going to be exciting regardless.
Agreed. And with Urseg, he's still young to the division. Like he got thrown to the wolves early because of they needed to throw somebody new at Pantoja, and he's still fighting the best of the best. Yes, he's on a 2-fight skid or 3-fight skid now.
Yeah,
with Pantoja, Kai, and now Moreno. And Kai, I think we talked about it last week. He might beat Kai 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
Kai's just got death in his hands, and when he makes it crazy and connects, he's dropping most anybody. And Urseg does leave himself to get hit sometimes, so
for sure.
But I think Urseg is here for. He's a tough guy. He's crisp boxer. We saw with Pantoja, pretty damn good grappler and in the scrambles and everything. I think he's going to be around. Will he be champ? I don't know.
I mean, that goes right into my next point. I think this is, aside from having Demetrius Johnson, who's one of the GOATs at the top, I think this is like the most stacked and like the deepest flyweight has been in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore...
Yeah, with the guys coming up, with Josh Van coming up, Kaya Sakura's still there. Who else?
I mean, Tim Elliott's still in there, but like, I mean, Tyra.
Yep, Tyra.
Kop's kind of needing a title shot soon.
Exactly.
Tagir Ulanbekov, I mean, I don't like him at all, but he's Dagestani and pretty good. So, but to your point, Urseg, I mean, I don't know, man. It's getting tougher by the month.
True. I think Urseg, I don't know if he'll be a champ at all or ever or anytime soon at least, but he's probably there in the high ceiling of 3 to.
They're gonna have to drop him. They're gonna have to drop him down now.
Yeah, he's gonna have to fight I want him to get back in the win column. Like fight another. Somebody lower than
they
him.
may give him like Asakura or like Ramazan Timarov, somebody like, okay, dude, you've lost 3 in a row. I know that's been to good fighters, but like, now you're gonna have to beat like a prospect, like or a guy on the way up. I'm assuming how they're gonna do it.
You're gonna have to prove that, hey, you should belong in here. Obviously, you've lost to guys that are getting ready to fight for belts.
Yeah. Last thing, Pfeiffer, Gastelum. It wasn't Kelvin this time.
It wasn't, shockingly. Pfeiffer pulls out not even 6 hours after having an interview saying he's the healthiest he's ever felt to an illness, an undisclosed illness, unless they've disclosed it now. But from what I've seen, I don't know if he got the fucking flu or, food poisoning, something.
This stuff, it hasn't happened as much like recently as far as like day of, but like it happens kind of often.
Yeah.
Like we saw, what was it, a couple years ago or last year, there's a main event like the day of where Kennedy ended up being the main event.
Yep.
Like it's just like this day of stuff it happens and it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And I don't know if it has to do with, obviously they're going
commission, I think.
Yeah, maybe. And he could have, maybe if the commission finds out you were puking or something, whether it be due to the weight cut or something, like you made weight but you're puking,
you're out,
you're done, or is it we just found out you're puking because you ate some bad Thai food? I
don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming it's probably like kind of a discretion thing too. Like this commission has the discretion to decide if this is serious enough. This other commission may not care as much.
But more lenient with certain things, but I don't know. It's weird.
So does this get booked like next month now, or
I would think
UFC
so.
Kansas City, because we're going to talk about the shit going down on that card.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
especially if it's not like something like an ailment for Pfeiffer, like it's super bad or something. Like if he got food poisoning and all of a sudden, or maybe not even food poisoning, the flu, and he lost 15 more fucking pounds.
Kelvin's going to be so mad he's got to cut weight again.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we all know he's a fatty and he doesn't want to cut weight.
I wish all the commissions would get on the same page, but
it's complicated. There's obviously a variety of circumstances with all this stuff. So
yeah, I'd like to see what the illness was. Was it you were shitting your fucking brains out, or you get sick because you ate a bad taco in Mexico City or something? I don't know.
Maybe they poisoned it or something. That you're not beating our guy, I guess, Kelvin. All right, let's move on to the news. But before that, real quick, we'll just mention a couple other events. BKFC had an event, a fight night. Luis Palomino wins a decision in the main event over Howard Davis. Palomino, former World Series of Fighting guy, fought Justin Gaethje a couple times. I think he's been in BKFC for quite a while now, actually.
There was a scary knockout on BKFC. One of the guys, I forgot.
Yeah, I think is 13 seconds right here.
I think that one right there.
Leonardo Perdomo and Steve Herluvius. Honestly, I've heard of two guys on this card, and it was the two in the main event. So
yeah, that I saw. I think it was that Perdomo card. He just stood over the guy, and the guy was. It was pretty scary. Like the way he. What the?
Yeah, I was to say. By the way, look at. So if anybody wants to see something funny, go to a guy named Bear Hill, like the animal bear and a hill. That's his name. Go to his Tapology. Look at his picture.
The Last Barbarian.
Yep, he fought on this card and he won.
His name is actually Shelby Hill. But he
can't tell anybody
changed it to Bear.
Bear, that's way better.
Yeah. But yeah, that knockout on there, that guy, that 13-second knockout, it was crazy. When he got knocked out, you see guys drop. This guy froze and his body turned into a statue. And the Perdomo, I think it was Perdomo, landed a right hook, froze him, and he was it was like a cartoon almost. He slowly started falling over. And when he fell, it looked like one of those, if you ever see a statue fall in a cartoon, he was when he landed, he kind of teeter-tottered a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucking wild.
Dang. Well, BKFC, I mean, if you want viral knockouts, that's probably the best place to go, honestly. All right, Lux Fight League. So this was in Mexico City, along with the UFC. They've been doing that recently with a lot of these, regional promotions. But Julieta Martinez, we talked about her. She was on the Contender Series. The UFC basically she won on the Contender Series, and they said we're interested, but you're too young.
Yeah, she's young as shit.
Yeah, she's like 21, I think. Super cute. 20.
20. Yeah, she is very
So
cute.
she wins a decision, lots of grappling. The girl she fought was literally 4-6, so I don't know if she's going to be super happy about not getting the finish, but she won. Mick Maynard and I think Sean Shelby were both there in the building, so she'll be back.
Yeah.
She'll be back in the UFC at some point.
She's got plenty of time.
I mentioned Axel Ozuna. His only 2 losses were David Martinez, who we just mentioned, and Reyes Cortez, Tracy Cortez's brother. He got a armbar win against, again, another guy with a losing record, but really easy for him. Other than that, I mean, the Lux Fight League interim flyweight title, Luis Ivan Rodriguez wins rear naked choke, beats Alexandro Bravo, and I believe retains the belt. I think he was the champ. Don't hold me to that. LFA 205. There was a lot of good fighters on this card. A lot of guys with good records. I mean, the main event, I guess we'll start at the top on this one. The bantamweight title was on the line. Vinicius Perez retains, submits Lionel Aboger. This Perez guy, Kyle Baraglio on the commentary was like, he's obsessed with this guy. The UFC needs to sign this guy. Not the most exciting style. I mean, he was grappling a lot too, but very clearly.
Is he one of the fighting nerds out of the fighting nerds?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think, I mean, unless... No, I mean, Black Sheep MMA, apparently, but...
I mean, it's Sao Paulo, so...
I mean, he may cross-train over there or something, but... other than that, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I wanted to shout out Gabby Fujimoto. She's 22 years old, and she's 7-0. And she looked really good. She submitted this girl in the first round, guillotine, 7-0, strawweight, 22 years old. You're probably going to get a contender series call or something at some point. And the last thing, I mentioned Herbeth Souza, 18-2 going into this, 19-2 now. I think he's another guy that we may be seeing in the UFC or in the contender series at some point. This is a catchweight at 140, but I'm assuming he's a bantamweight usually. And in Ryzen, I didn't watch any of this. I don't even know how to watch this. But the bantamweight belt, Naoki Inoue wins a split decision over Yuki Matoya. And again, this is another card with a lot of guys with good records on it, but I don't know really any of them.
Spike Carlisle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I think I forgot to mention that Spike was on this card last week.
I didn't even notice he was there.
So he loses a unanimous decision.
Spike.
What was the guy? There was one guy on here that I didn't mention that was... I don't know. See, it may have been canceled. He had knocked out Pitbull.
Oh,
last
I remember
year.
you saying it.
I don't know. It's really not that
was
important.
Was it the main event?
No, it was... The guy was like blonde. If I see his picture, I know that it was him.
Chichiro Suzuki?
Was it this guy? It may have been this guy. Yeah, I think it was this guy. Yeah, Patricio Pitbull. So he knocked him out in the first round in 2023. Well, he lost, actually. Split decision against Karshiga Dautabek out of Kyrgyzstan, I believe. But all right, we've spent too much time on Ryzen 50. Any last thoughts on any of these other events?
No. I mean, Mexico City was a good card. We've definitely seen better cards from there, but I mean, it was good night of fights.
All right, ready for the news?
Yes, sir.
News team, assemble!
Alrighty. So typically, a little behind the scenes for you. Typically on our doc, I try to put the news in an order that kind of makes sense. But there is so much of it this week that I didn't even bother. So there's going to be a lot of these kind of in weird order, random stuff that doesn't really make sense to be back to back. But we're just going to go down the list in order for all the news because there's a ton. Artem Bakitov, who was a glory kickboxer, didn't he beat Pereira? They 1-1.
Yeah, I think so.
Kickboxing, won on the contender series, and the UFC said, "Hey, here's our standard contract for contender series debut guys." He said no. He turned it down.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, I get it. Go get your bag if you can go make more money somewhere else, but also like in a sense be a nobody, to the world.
Yeah.
You come and do what you're doing, what you've done in Glory and all that, and you do it in the UFC, like Alex Pereira, who was a champion in Glory and everything, but nobody knew who the hell he was unless you were in that fight game and watched a lot of kickboxing. Guess what? He's an international superstar now.
Yep.
Making more money than he's ever made.
It's weird because I didn't know. I don't hear anything about Glory. Like, I didn't even really know that they still existed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was dead. I thought it was over.
So in order to keep this guy around, which, first of all, it's been announced that he's fighting Rico Verhoeven for the title, and Verhoeven's been the champ there for like 20 years, it feels like. But they must have some money to offer people to keep him around. I know the offer apparently from the UFC was like 12-12, which is not much for a guy like that.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think that it would have to be a pretty good offer from Glory to keep him from going to the big UFC.
And he's probably got sponsors and stuff like that. He probably makes more money. But also, to me, like that, I get it. You want to make money, but are you in it for glory as well? No pun intended. But are you trying to be the best of the best and fight the best of the best? That's what you go to the UFC to do that. Yeah. And to me, he's like, I've beaten guys and all this stuff. I'm gonna go make more money. You can do that, but you're also, no one's gonna know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think unfortunately, I think that is the last we're going to hear from him as far as the UFC goes. I think that was they don't.
Yeah. You turned down that offer. They're like, okay, fuck you. We don't need you.
Right. And I don't think he's ever going to be big enough in Glory for them to be like, okay, throw the bag at him, get him over.
No.
Speaking of throwing the bag at somebody, Topuria, Ilya, not Alexander, has officially changed his nickname from El Matador to La Leyenda.
Yep. The legend.
The legend. Does anybody have a bigger head in the sport right now?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, can you blame him, though? You have big head knocking out the two people back to back like he did.
And I'm a big fan of his, but man, he is really feeling himself right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And maybe that's why he's where he's at with that kind of but I mean, I'm excited. I want him to fight. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, and these lightweights are like, no, you don't deserve it. You haven't done anything.
Yeah, just fight him.
Like, I've only knocked out Vulcan Max back to back.
Yeah, nobody's done that.
Yeah, so yeah, let's get him in there with somebody good. I don't want to see him fight freaking, like, I don't know, what's a good example here? I don't want to see him fight Gamrot. They're talking about Gamrot.
Yeah, I don't want. Why do you want to throw Gamrot at him?
Gamrot will make it boring, probably.
Yeah, he's gonna wrestle. That's what Gamrot does.
And he's ranked 8. Like, we don't want the champ, who's knocked out 2 of the GOATs, to fight the number 8 guy. But anyways, your girl Macy Barber, she's finally gonna fight.
Finally,
it's crazy. She's fighting Erin Blanchfield in the UFC Vegas 107 May 31st. Do we like the matchup for Macy?
Not first fight back.
No, I think it's horrible.
Yeah, but I get it. She's talented. If this was like she was in the mix of it and been fighting, I'd be like all over it. Like, let's go. But this is your first fight back in
since the Caitlin Sermonara one, right?
Yeah.
March 9th, 2024, UFC 299.
Yeah.
O'Malley versus Cheeto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy she's back, and I know I've picked her. I thought she's going to be champ, and then she got sick, and
we've seen, I think Erin's had she's had the ups and downs a little bit. Like, she lost that Furo one, obviously. I think she's like kind of, even though she's younger than Macy, she's like kind of had the recent downs that make the ups better. You know, like she's gotten better from that. I know Macy has lost to, like, what's her name? The lived in Japan, Roxy.
Oh yeah.
She's had that, but like it just feels like her career has been like started and stopped so much that she's kind of starting over, I feel like, almost. But doing it against the number 3 girl.
Yeah. And I think the UFC's like, all right, we're going to start you right back where you were. Where you left off before you were dying.
Yeah.
And now you're back, and here's Blanchfield.
Yeah, I like Blanchfield quite a bit in that one. Luana Pinheiro, I thought she was not in the UFC anymore, but I could be making that up. But she's fighting Tisha Pennington, UFC Vegas 106, May 17th. What's that, 14?
Yes.
Yeah, 14 versus 15. Yeah, I thought Pinheiro and her boyfriend, Mateus Nicolau, both got cut.
I thought so, too.
But I guess not. I like Pinheiro. She's cute.
Yeah.
Keep her around. I think Tisha, I probably like Tisha to win this one.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
All right, moving on. GFL, the Global Fight League they've announced their first 2 events, which are both going to take place at the Shrine Auditorium in LA, March 24th and 25th, back-to-back days. That's weird to me, the back-to-back days thing.
Yeah, it is weird, and there's such big names on this thing. I want it to be cool because of all the names on there, but damn, are we gonna watch a bunch of old dudes?
Yeah. So the fights, I mean, I'm guessing these are official. I mean, per Ariel Helwani, so yeah, they must be official. I mean, Faber versus Barral 3, Ferguson versus Dylan Dennis, Douglas Lima versus Uriah Hall, Ben Henderson, Anthony Pettis 4, Holly Holm versus Julia Budd, Derek Brunson, Omari Akhmedov, Chad Mendez, and Mike Linares. I don't even know who that is. Sage Northcutt versus Lucas Martins, Marlon Rice, Ray Borg, Aspen Ladd, Alejandra Lara, Rebellis of Spain, Todd Duffy. Todd Duffy ain't showing up.
No,
he never does.
He'll show up and then
fall down
and quit.
I mean, Kat Zingano's on here, Neiman Gracie, Danny Roberts, Hot Chocolate. Shout out to him. Jessica Penne, Charles Rosa. I mean, all the names from 2015.
Yeah.
But and that's just on the 24th.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Ferguson Dennis, 25th. OSP Gustafson, Hall Lima. Okay, Paige Van Zant, Alima Lay McFarland, Alan Pelcher. I mean, how many of these people are going to actually show up and fight?
I don't know. It almost seems too good to be true. Like these.
I mean, we're going to have 10 cancellations, I think, on this card, probably, or these cards. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't even know where they're going to be broadcast, to be honest with you. I
don't know either.
I think they're maybe doing their own deal. So if this completely flops viewership wise, I mean, maybe the first 2 events wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's going to not be good if nobody watches it or not the level of people that need to watch it in order to sell it to a network. See, people watch our stuff. Network.
Yeah.
Pick us up. Well, if nobody watches it, you can't do that. So, I don't know. Again,
I'm interested, but also like, man, all these people are out of the best promotion for a reason. They're old, or they were just getting beat the hell up. Yeah.
So
or
again,
started OnlyFans.
May 24th and 25th. Be on the lookout for that. A guy that we may be the podcast that talks about this guy the most. Taylor Lapoulis signs with the PFL. Love it. I don't know. He's really good, and I think he'll probably beat everyone up there.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that does for PFL, other than the fact that he is from France. So maybe you get a lot of people from that area. But I don't know. What do you think?
Not the most exciting fighter. I mean, he got cut, with a winning record in the UFC, but he can't seem to. He's like allergic to finishes or something. But hey, good for him. Signing with the second best, I guess, right now.
And he's not going to be in any of the tournaments, I don't think. Definitely not the American one, because it's already starting.
Yeah, it's already over with. Or, the selections are already over with.
Right. Real quick, I mean, we'll go quick on this one. Giannis Gamori, who, got knocked out by Peyton Talbot, he signed at PFL MENA. This MENA is like the Middle East version of PFL. It's like basically, it's like PFL Europe. They kind of have these different, like, promote. It's like almost its own separate promotion. They got the whole different roster. He's from France, or he lives in France, but he is of some sort of Middle Eastern descent. And the reason I put this on here is because I thought he was decent. He just got clipped by Peyton Talbot, who's really good. I mean,
he is the Desert Warrior.
Where's he actually from? Does not say.
Born in France.
Yeah.
Fights out of France.
He's of some sort of Middle Eastern descent, so I don't know. We'll see. He's over at PFL MENA now, and I think they do their own little tournaments and stuff there too.
All right.
Don Davis, the CEO of PFL, is talking about John Jones.
Oh.
And basically saying, if I offer John Jones $50 million to come fight Francis, he would, or something. That's not the exact quote by any means, but I know one way Johnny Bones earns $50 million. ... Francis Ngannou to decide the true MMA heavyweight champion and the real pound for pound number one. That would be the fight of the decade for MMA fans. Is there any smoke to this?
$50 million?
Yeah.
I
guess is there any fire would be the.
I mean, I'd watch that fight.
Well, but I'm saying, is there any way this happens?
I don't think so. I don't think Dana lets it happen. One.
Yeah.
But where are you getting this money?
I don't know where
you just lowered the pay or the tournament value from $1 million to.
I guess that's where they're probably getting it.
I guess, yeah, unless they.
But yeah, they've been letting fighters go because presumably they can't really afford to keep them, and they can't make them fight enough. Maybe they do just have these super deep pockets, and they're only letting these guys go because they can't find them enough fights in a year type thing.
Maybe.
But it's just hard to imagine that you're not really probably going to keep Patchy Mix. They've already got, Patricio Pitbull's gone. They're releasing these guys, Gegard, but you can spend $50 million on John Jones. It's crazy. So this is kind of rumor mill, I think. KSW interim featherweight champion Robert Ruchala, who is out of Poland, has apparently received an offer from the UFC. And this dude, I'm not a big expert on this guy, but he's 11-1. Like I said, KSW interim champ. KSW is a good promotion. And
soccer body kick.
Yeah, he lost via soccer kick to the body in round 4.
Oh,
his only loss in KSW. So I don't know. I'm all for bringing guys like this over, especially because I've been championing them going to Europe more.
Yeah,
and doing more. Them being the UFC, doing more events in Europe, and obviously Polish guys. There's a lot of Polish fighters in the UFC, and they're good.
True. He's young too. I mean, why not?
Yeah, 26. Yeah. Okay, Jeff Molina, a name we haven't heard in quite a while.
Yep.
Receives a 3-year suspension. So, for those who don't know, he was a part of, allegedly, I guess, a part of James Krause betting on fights when he knows guys are injured and this type of stuff. So the UFC, they get rid of him. Now, what I'm not understanding here, two things. Why did it take this long to get the suspension in place? Because the suspension will literally be up in November. That will be the 3 years.
Yeah.
How is this just now coming out? That he's suspended for 3 years? And then the second question is, why is Molina mad about this when it's already going to be up in November? He's complaining on Twitter. It shouldn't be 3 years. We're already like 2.5 years into it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's weird. It's shitty, that whole, shaving points thing, betting on the other horse because your horse is hobbled. Like, it just doesn't, I don't know. It's kind of a black eye in the sport. I just don't like that shit.
I don't. The commission, I mean, they really blew this one as far as like getting an actual ruling out there. I mean, we're 2.5 years later, and now but also, this really isn't a story in my mind because he's never fighting the UFC again.
No, I don't think so either.
So, and he was good. He started out his career really good. I think he was like 3-0 or something in the UFC. Okay, like I said, random order here, but I had to throw this on here. John Jones. So his debut was in 2008 in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
He's fought 24 times in the UFC. Kevin Holland debuted in 2018. 26 UFC fights.
Wow.
10 years later. 10 years.
Yeah, it's wild. It's the nature of the beast, I guess. Just you become the youngest champ ever, and then you stay the champ for your entire career. I guess you get that privilege and all that. And Holland says yes. I mean, after he loses a fight, he's like, "Yep, you got to do it." That whole I make a lot of money, but I do a lot of spending as well. So
it's just fighters got to fight sometimes, man.
Yeah, no, I think there's got to be. They have to make it in your contract instead of it just being a fight. You got to fight within after you get your suspension, not suspension, but like 30-day break or whatever after fights or something like that.
But I mean,
and a suspension, but you gotta fight. They should make it okay after your suspension. If you're healthy, you got to go.
At least book one. Like at least if you get injured, okay, but at least book a fight.
Yeah. They got to start throwing these in if you back out of fights.
But this is John's. We know he's like kind of transcends the sport a little bit. Not to Connor's level. Like he can't call all the shots like Connor could, but he's trying to.
Oh yeah.
And they're not going to. I mean, at least not yet. They're not just going to say, "Okay, fuck off." And he'll go somewhere else and be huge there. So, Marvin Vettori and Shara Bullet talking on Twitter a little bit. It may be a potential matchup here. Vettori says, "Shara, I accept the offer." This makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's now really
Shara's not ranked, but I mean he's got to be like 16 if there was 17. Marvin's on a losing streak.
True. He's got to be looking at like, all right, I got to get a name under me. This guy's not ranked, but he does have some a fandom following.
I think that would definitely, obviously, there'd be some eyes on that one, but I do kind of think Vettori, at least in Vettori's mind, he says, I can take this guy down.
You would think, but sometimes Vettori does shit that.
I mean, he doesn't wrestle often, but I think that's probably the thought. I mean, he's not going to strike with him, surely, right? I mean,
surely, but Vettori sometimes does shit that you don't think he would do, and ends up losing.
He doesn't think good, really. Josh Van versus Bruno Silva, it booked again. This was obviously booked originally, and then Ray Saruya came in for the injured Bruno Silva, but now they got it booked. UFC 316. In Newark on June 7th. Van's ranked 14 now. Bruno's 12. I'm okay with it. Van's super young. I think they could give him a bigger step up, but it's fine.
They don't need to really rush him. If he loses, it's not really that. It's not like that detrimental.
No. I think this is a phenomenal matchup for Josh.
Oh yeah.
Bruno Silva's a tiny little guy, and he wants to strike. He hits hard, but I think Van's just going to outclass him on the feet.
So
probably.
Crispy.
Yep. Let's skip that one. So, unfortunately, if you're going to the May 3rd Des Moines, Iowa card, you've lost probably the most intriguing matchup, in my opinion. I guess aside from the Fig and Sandhagen fight, Cheeto Vera versus Mario Batista has been moved from that May 3rd Des Moines Fight Night to UFC 316 in Newark as well on June 7th. That sucks.
Yeah. That card's probably looking a little, I would say, malnourished.
Yeah, well, so that card's got a lot of fights. Like, it's got like 13 fights right now. So that's maybe probably why got it off there. But we're in this period of time right now where the UFC, everyone's getting hurt. Nobody's able to show up, so they probably said, "Hey, we need."
Be on this card, I'd rather be on a different card, or talking, hey, can we be moved to this card? I got shit going on, you know.
Maybe. I mean, they obviously, you sign the contract for the card that is on the contract.
Yeah.
So him being Mario Batista and Cheeto, obviously they knew the card they're going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the UFC. I mean, it's kind of a win-win for both parties. I mean,
yeah,
you add a big fight to the pay-per-view, and these guys get to fight on the pay-per-view. So, I mean, this May 3rd card. I mean, it's not bad still. Like, obviously, that's a big one to lose. I was thinking, like, man, this thing is pretty stacked for a fight night with that fight on it. So to me, it makes sense why they would pull it off there. Anyways, back to PFL. Ryan Bader parts ways with PFL. I don't have an exact reason why. I'm guessing. Like, oh, here we go. So he has one fight left on his contract. Bader crossover
to acting.
Yeah, so he was acting a little bit, but I think this is another just I'm not fighting enough, or I'm not getting offered enough fights type of situation.
Yeah, it's going to star in that movie about Mark Kerr.
No, that's
yeah, the Smashing Machine.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that until just now.
Yeah, I think Bader's supposed to play. I saw something. I read about it. He's playing. Someone said he was playing Mark Coleman or something, or another big name.
Right.
That's the guy he's playing as.
Hell yeah, Bader's cool. I like him. I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe he may just be kind of done fighting.
Maybe. I mean, fuck, he's been around forever.
Yeah.
He's been champ. You know, fought in the UFC. He fought in Bellator. Champ there for a while. I've always been a fan of Bader.
Yeah. I think, why keep going? I mean, it's the likelihood of you just getting put away ugly in an ugly fashion is getting more likely.
Yeah.
So go be in movies.
Yeah. Who do you think? That's what shit. I just watched a movie last night. Cyril Gaon's in.
Really?
Den of Thieves 2.
Wow.
He's in it for like 25 seconds.
Okay, like Tyron Woodley type deal.
Yeah. He is like a informant for the mafia in this movie.
Is he like this big, huge, jacked self? Like,
yeah, he just is normal. He's in a tracksuit with a beanie on.
Wow.
And he's scared of the mafia don. So
that's no. I mean, like, obviously the mafia could kill anybody, but like he would kick their head off.
Yeah,
every one of them probably. So to go along with the Bader parting ways at PFL, Corey Anderson on social media was he wasn't like mad, but he did like mention that he hasn't been offered a fight in a long time, and he wants to fight. So this ongoing situation with PFL right now.
Yeah, they're all those fighters are handcuffed right now because they're under contract, and I bet you all of them are regretting it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Well, I mean, obviously they were part of Bellator.
Oh, true, but
you know.
And they probably didn't know, or they probably heard rumblings about Bellator going under, being...
Yeah. They didn't have a say in the sale.
Yeah.
And obviously, once you're under contract, it's like
they
own you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like we mentioned Amosov the other day. He's already fighting in CFFC, which is like a tier below the UFC and PFL. They let him go apparently, or maybe his deal was up before the acquisition. I don't know. Patchy Mix is they're not letting him fight, and they're not getting rid of him.
Yeah,
he should be in the UFC.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid. This is you're probably going to see a lot of fighters, at least big name fighters, aren't going to be signing with the PFL after this.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the Taylor Lapalus, the Jake Hadleys, the Alexander Romanovs, the guys that we have been seeing them sign.
Yeah, they're going to get the bottom tier guys.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough to. I don't know if that's obviously, we're complaining about the GFL signing all the old big names. I don't know if that's a great game plan, and I don't think the opposite, where you're not signing any big names, is good either. Yeah,
I mean, I understand. I don't want people signing the big old guys that are washed out of the UFC because, they got old, they got beat a bunch and all that stuff. But get a few names in there, start building your, start pulling more fighters, trying to pull more fighters from the lower levels, cage fighters, LFAs.
Cage Warriors.
Yeah, Cage Warriors, sorry. LFA, all that stuff.
I think honestly Bellator did it right. I mean, they signed Ben Henderson and obviously a ton of names.
Mm-hmm.
Rory McDonald, I'm sure there's a bunch more. Gegard. But they also you'd go watch their prelims and there would be some kid who's 7-0 and four of his last four fights have been with Bellator. And he's fighting a guy that he's probably should beat, which I didn't like as much because it was kind of some soft matchups.
Mm.
But they would build him up.
Yep.
They were constantly doing that. That's the way you got to do it. Have some big names at the top and then have homegrown talent.
Yeah, you got to build your farm system up and
I think BKFC's doing that kind of.
Yeah,
they're homegrown, some of them, and then the Ben Rothwells and that type of stuff. All right, moving on. Antonina Shevchenko retires, so she's coming off of a win, but it was in 2022. But I guess she officially retires now.
She's just all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore.
I mean, it makes sense. I honestly, I'm surprised it took this long for this to be announced. I don't know. Maybe she's dealt with injuries. I'm not exactly sure.
You haven't fought in almost 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like Antonina. She obviously, we're not going to read all that.
Yeah.
So go, she posted a big long statement if you want to see exactly what the deal is.
I love that reply people post on that big long things sorry that happened to you, or I'm really happy, but good for you.
Didn't read it.
Yeah, didn't read it all. I love that shit.
Okay, so we mentioned Rod Tang last week with his just easy knockout. So I guess they're doing him and Haggerty next. Have they fought before?
I can't remember if he did fight Haggerty. Haggerty fought a guy and got knocked out by him.
Yeah, like not that long ago.
Yeah, fairly recently.
I guess 2 fights ago now. Superlek.
Superlek, okay.
I'm going to be pretty surprised. Okay, so
Rod Tang, he did.
They fought twice, and Rod Tang beat him both times.
Yeah. Haggerty, Rod Tang, I love Haggerty.
Yeah.
He's great. I think he's a great fighter. His wife is Smoke Show.
Haggerty?
Yeah.
Is she?
An absolute smoke show.
Okay.
But I wonder why. He's a good looking dude himself.
I know, yeah.
But he doesn't have the chin for against these guys.
Rod
a Superlek or a Rod Tang.
This doesn't say, but this has got to be kickboxing, this fight. If it's Muay Thai with the MMA gloves,
it's
Haggerty's sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, they did Muay Thai those first 2 times.
I guess they did.
I would assume it's Muay Thai.
But they do. They also, I think they have done Muay Thai with big gloves too.
Okay,
where they allow elbows and knees.
I think this is. I'm trying to remember. Haggerty fights with the big gloves, I think.
Well, so this Superlek fight, he lost his Muay Thai belt.
Okay,
and that was with MMA gloves.
Okay, maybe I'm
the last fight he defended his kickboxing belt with the big gloves and the no elbows.
Mm-hmm.
That's there. We've talked about this. There's 8 different.
Oh yeah, they
belts for the same weight.
They have medieval fights over there at one championship.
Haggerty's he's a featherweight medieval champ too. Do you know that?
Yeah. This one really is. He's already 2-0. They're throwing big names up there to fight each other again.
I like that they're doing the big name versus the big name.
Yes,
but you're not knocking out Rod Tang.
No. I mean, the guy that hurt him bad, I think it was Superlek. So
Yeah.
when they fought, so it was it's fun. I like both of them. Rod Tang's a beast. Haggerty's a beast, but he just doesn't have the chin conditioning that Rod Tang has.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We got to talk about it. Cain Velasquez
Oh yeah.
sentenced to 5 years. I guess if you want to explain for anybody who doesn't know the situation.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he found out. I think it was a family member was sexually assaulting his niece or his daughter.
I think it was somebody that worked at the daycare.
Oh, the daycare.
I think.
It was. I can't remember if it was his daughter or his niece.
I don't know exactly either.
But he chased them down in his truck and was shooting outside of the truck into their vehicle. Ended up hitting the dad of the guy he was trying to hit.
Mm-hmm.
He got sentenced to 5 years plus time served. So it's really like a year and a half in prison.
I think his attorney basically said it may probably get out like within a year.
Yeah, well, on good behavior and stuff like that, probably.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have got any time.
Yeah,
in my opinion, he should have been allowed just him and the guy, that did that horrific shit.
just put him in a jail cell.
Yeah, just put him in his cell and let Cain do what Cain wants to do.
Yeah.
That's what should happen. He shouldn't get any of that. That's free Cain. I loved how all the fighters were backing him up on Twitter and everything. He shouldn't have got any time. Any person that has children or any right-minded person that is a good person would have done the same fucking thing.
Yep. I
would have done the same fucking thing if that had been my son or my nephews or nieces or anything like that. I'd be in prison myself too, Cain. So I applaud you, sir. I think you're good. Obviously a great fighter, probably even better person. Shouldn't have gotten any time. You should be free walking streets, and that other guy should be in the dirt.
Agreed. All right. From one stupid thing to another, Bo Nickel says him versus Khamzat is the most exciting fight after Jones versus Aspinall or Islam versus Taporia. Okay, not gonna lie to you. I thought when I first read this, I thought he was saying that it was more exciting than those two fights. So that's why this was on here. It makes more sense now. I still don't. I guess the point still stands. I don't think people really care about this. At least not right now.
Yeah, it's that one. I think the only thing maybe not the only thing. Bo's a great wrestler, obviously,
Yeah.
But he's not going to stand up with Khamzat. Khamzat's way better on the feet than he is.
I don't really think he's going to grapple with him either.
I don't think he'll have a field day like he thinks he is. The one thing that he would have on Khamzat is cardio.
Yeah. But if you're getting ragdolled, I don't know. I think Bo thinks that. I think Bo cares so much about telling everybody that American wrestling is better than Dagestani wrestling.
Yeah.
He thinks other people care.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't matter what's better to me.
No.
It's like a fighter by fighter basis. Mm-hmm. So I think he's a smart guy. Like, he's no dummy. I think he knows that this isn't going to happen yet.
Mm-hmm.
The UFC's not going to let this happen yet. But he's going to build it to when it does happen. It's big.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I would definitely put that fight behind the Jones, Aspinall, and Taporia and Islam.
Yeah.
And maybe even behind some other fights that we could probably sit here and think
for
of.
Sure. Khamzat's fighting for the belt, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so road to the UFC, season 4. The first round is May 22nd and 23rd. I don't know. I'm sure I could go find the roster. I'm not going to know who any of them are, probably. But we've talked multiple times about fighters from this show, and they produce some pretty solid Asian talent.
A lot, all the Asian talent. Yeah. That's really what goes there. And so they put some good guys there. Big names have come from there, but also a ton of guys who had a lot of talk behind them that you just can't trust.
No. I mean, what was okay? I'm not gonna say that because I don't know if that's actually right. Anyways, it's so one thing about Road to the UFC is I always have a hard time like finding it, like how to watch it.
Yeah, probably because it's in Asia.
Yeah, I guess I should do my research. It's probably literally on UFC Fight Pass, like
Oh yeah, probably
live.
I would hope.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll try to tune in this time. So this earthquake in Myanmar is, I guess, where it actually happened, but obviously a terrible deal. I think it's like 1,600 plus dead now.
That's huge. The
reason we're talking about it is because it canceled some Muay Thai events in Thailand, including their Friday night fights they do every Friday. They had to cancel it.
Oh, yeah, I watched some videos. It's wild over there, man. Just I watched a video of a top story hotel pool, and the earthquake broke the glass, and the whole pool, all that water came down and wiped out this entire street.
Jeez.
People are just like eating food, going to the grocery store, whatever it may be, and there was like a ton of people. You saw the water come down and gone, just everything destroyed.
It's terrible, man. We got a big pop from the Myanmar people, Josh Van fans, and so
yeah, we're thinking about you guys.
Yep.
Stay strong out there. It's terrible. You guys are gonna bust back and come back stronger. So,
yep. Shout out to the Myanmar fight fans out there. We've talked about how much we just love this dirty boxing thing. Sarcasm. They said they'll be offering Cain Velasquez a multi-fight deal when he gets released from prison. Cool. I mean,
yeah, I think it's a cool thing for them to do that. Like, maybe I don't know if would be hurting for money or anything, but he'd probably go there and beat some ass.
but I feel like he's probably got a lot of offers over the years.
Oh yeah.
So like,
he would have already done it.
I guess. Well, maybe with his legal situation,
he couldn't.
Probably couldn't have. So maybe, who knows? Since 2022, maybe he's been like, damn, I wish I could fight again.
Yeah, we'll get some more money in the bank. But
we'll see. I mean, if he does accept it, he'll be fighting Tom Johnson from PetSmart.
Yeah,
so,
the crowd.
Yeah.
Working the concession stand.
So in conjunction with this UFC Mexico City card that we've already talked about, they announced that Noche, the next installment of Noche UFC will be September 13th. It'll be UFC 320 in Guadalajara. I think that's cool. Obviously, Mexican Independence Day, it should probably be in Mexico, but I really kind of thought like the Sphere was going to be like the place. Like, Noche's at the Sphere, the big. So
yeah, I that's probably because the Sphere is such a big thing. It's probably got so many events there.
Yeah.
It can't just be a every year thing.
I also don't think it was the easiest event for them to do. There was a lot of like logistical stuff.
Yeah.
The seats and everything was tough.
All the shit they put on it was a big thing.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's not sustainable to do that every year. This will be the first time, and I think 10 years that they've gone to Mexico twice in the same year. So we had this Mexico City card. We got Guadalajara. I think, should we go there and see your family and stuff?
Yeah, it'd be cool to go there, though.
I mean, I'd go. Mark your calendar, September 13th. Hungover Handride will be there. This is a bummer. Jeff Neal versus Carlos Praches is canceled on 3/14, right? Which is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In Miami. So Jeff Neal pulls out. I feel like this isn't the first time we've heard those words.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I was looking forward to seeing Carlos Praches.
I guess we should go to the card real quick, because my question is, do they go find some guy for him to beat up to save his spot on the card, or do they just move on?
Yeah, I mean, would he do that, Praches, now, especially with the momentum that they have?
He would take it, I bet.
Yeah.
But this card doesn't really need it, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, Yair and Pitbull's on the prelims.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they're okay. Yeah, there's some big ones that were supposed to be on here that aren't, though. Burns, Morales, Pantoja, Kaikar France, Saruki and Chandler, Neal Praches. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a bummer, but in 2025, it's not very surprising to hear
True.
fight off. Well, let's go a little bit out of order here. Speaking of fights being off, it's not Tapology official, but apparently Jamal Hill is out of the UFC Kansas City main event versus Khalil Roundtree. Ongoing leg injury. It's like ongoing his entire life. I mean, it's always his leg injury. So that sucks.
If it is, who do they have step in? Like that guy says Yuri step in.
See, but I just don't think that's even gonna happen. I mean, Yuri, we like we talk about, he's a samurai, maybe, but Yuri's in a good spot. Like he's number 2.
Yeah.
We have a new champ. Does he jump in short notice and risk that? I hope he does.
Yeah.
Because I was really the events that we've been to in person. This is the most excited I've been about a main event.
Yeah.
By far.
Definitely.
So,
That would be real cool. I hope it isn't true, but that guy is. I've seen a lot of his stuff come true. So
yes, he's. I think he's like pretty legit.
So who's the co-main event for that card? That
it's Anthony Smith and Ming Yang Zhang. So that can't be the main event.
No,
that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Especially because it's Anthony Smith's retirement fight, right?
Yeah.
Now,
I'm down to see Ming Yang Zhang.
Yeah.
But
okay, let's go to this because apparently, according to the same reputable source, Derek Lewis is being added to UFC Kansas City.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Jamal's called him, a couple days ago, told him the situation, and they're making other plans right now.
Yeah, we got to find somebody for Derek to fight now.
So this will be the second event that we've been to in a row that he's going to be the main event, probably. Which, Derek Lewis is cool, but like I don't want to see him be in the main event.
Yeah.
In the cards I'm going to. Like that's just not.
I didn't get to go to the one in St. Louis.
Yeah, I guess you didn't.
But
you weren't there, but it was great. I mean, it was a good fight. It was fun. He showed his butt, like he knocked the guy out and stuff, but like it's Jamal and Khalil, man. That's the one.
That would have been great. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that card is still fun. It's got, some good fighters that I'll be happy to see.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see Pollyanna on the street or something.
I'd love to.
Yeah. Just, and she's like, hey, let's go to dinner. Okay.
But just Jonathan.
Just Jonathan.
You have a girlfriend and
I know,
kid,
true, but I meant just go down and I just want to
just hang out. Yeah. Okay.
Just
I don't
talk to
know
her.
if she speaks English real well.
Probably not, but we'd make it work.
Yeah. All right. Last news story here. This one, I just saw this today. So apparently Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber in the works for one of the 2 June pay-per-views. I guess I didn't realize there was 2 pay-per-views in June. First of all.
There it is.
June
316 and 317.
Yeah, so June 7th and June 28th. Yeah, so so I guess Zellhuber versus Michael Johnson on one of those.
That's a fun little matchup there. Step up for Zellhuber.
It's a tough one for Michael, I think.
Yeah. But Michael's shown in the last couple fights he's still there.
Yeah.
But Zellhuber's tough as shit. Pretty crisp on the feet.
Yeah.
Can crack. I mean, I want it's gonna be fun.
Hopefully Zellhuber cleans up the defense a little bit. I mean, he's really relied on his durability too much.
Yeah.
But all right, that's it for the news. You ready to quickly talk about this Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy Apex Fight Night?
Yeah.
We each have as always, a prelim storyline. I'm going to go first on this one because according to Tapology, my fight will be the second fight of the night. And my prelim storyline, this not a fight that either of these fighters are going to go win a belt or, or even maybe be in the UFC for like 10 years. I wouldn't even go that far. But the fight I'm talking about is Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talita Alencar at strawweight. They're like the same person. They both are primarily grapplers. They want to grapple. They're both tiny. This is probably the two smallest fighters in the UFC right here. They're small straw weights.
Mm-hmm.
Straw weight's the smallest weight class you got.
Yeah.
They both can't wrestle a lick. They both can't strike a lick. The big difference is, well, so I guess Talita Alencar, she's the much more on paper credentialed grappler. She's like 6-time like jiu-jitsu world champ. She's done all the IBJJF worlds, all this stuff. But you know, Demopoulos, she's done grappling competitions a lot as well, and here's where the big difference is going to start showing up.
What a pick!
A lot more UFC experience, obviously. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Vanessa Demopoulos will walk straight into the fire and throw down.
Yeah,
and she hits actually really hard.
Mm-hmm.
She can't, like, her technical striking ability, not very good. It's overhands, low kicks, but she's tough and she cracks. She really cracks. And Alencar, I'm not so sure she's going to like what she's getting hit with in there. Now, can Alencar take her down? Maybe. But Alencar, literally, I'm going to go ahead and say that she probably, through 3 UFC fights, I'm including her Contender Series fight, there's probably no fighter that's ever attempted as many takedowns in 3 fights as her.
Really?
43.
Oh my god!
She fought that Stephanie Luciano twice, Contender Series, and then in the UFC. the Contender Series won 4 for 24 on takedowns against Luciano.
Shit.
Gassed out hard. Went 1 for 10 in their rematch on takedowns, and just doesn't have a gas tank and doesn't have the wrestling to use her jiu-jitsu skills.
Yeah.
I mean, world-class jiu-jitsu player, can't get him down to the mat.
And that's the thing we see a lot with, you know, elite BJJ people. Just they can't get the wrestling or the grappling into getting to the mat.
Yeah, I think Alencar, okay, maybe she could sell out for the grappling, like, and just work really hard on it and get her down, maybe. But again, we've seen her gas hard. And once she can't get her down and she starts getting hit, because you're not going to get Vanessa to fuck off. You're going to have to shut it off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's just going to keep coming.
She's a damn zombie.
And last thing I'll say, because we're trying to move quick through this, but I just wanted to shout out their significant strikes absorbed per minute for each of them. 5.53 for Demopoulos. Landed per minute, 3.87. And for Alencar, absorbed 4.8, landed 2.49.
Damn.
And just for some reference, the best strikes absorbed per minute, meaning the lowest in the whole division, is Tatiana Suarez, 1.67, compared to 4.8 and 5.53. So they get hit, but one's going to hit harder and one's going to want to be in there more, I think, and it's Vanessa Demopoulos. But they are twins.
Yeah.
So they're like the exact same fighter. All right, on to your prelim storyline.
All right, mine has to do with some pretty fun guys, actually. One being Reese, the Skeletor McKee, fighting out of Ireland, the Fight Academy Ireland. The guy he's fighting is Daniel Tigano Frunza. He is fighting out of Romania, I believe it is.
Yep.
Both guys are fun to watch. Reese McKee, he's 13-6-1. 0-4 in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's fought some guys.
I'd say, but
the guys he's fought, you know, obviously debuted against Khamzat Chimaev and absolutely got the living shit kicked out of him to the point where, I mean, he didn't throw a punch.
Really?
Literally, the stat was right before Khamzat finished it in the first round. The stat was Khamzat had like 32 strikes and Reese had 0.
It was 0.
0.
Yeah.
He got big brothered. I mean, absolutely walked through, which Khamzat usually does. But He fought Morono, decision. Reese is a tough guy. He's fought some names, but he has been fighting at welterweight when he was fighting at lightweight before the UFC. A lot of his fights were UFC, and he decided he was moving up.
Okay.
I think maybe the weight cut is just really tough because he is a taller guy, longer dude.
6'2".
Yeah. Maybe the weight cut is just a little too much, but he struggles with these guys that are physically, at this weight class, stronger than him, bigger than him. He's got the length and everything, but when guys get up in his face and start grappling him, that's where he struggles. Like, he just doesn't have the strength there, or the, enough lead in his ass to really combat that.
He is a good striker, it seems
Very
like.
good striker. He's long-armed, has shown promise when he's fighting, most like the fights that had a split decision against Cheaty. That was a fun fight. He's a long guy. He knows what he's doing. But he just struggles when it gets to these guys that are bigger than him in this weight class, especially when they start to grapple him. And he's not very, I hate saying not very good, but he's not very good on the ground, off his back. He gets big brothered a lot, especially in this weight division.
He's fighting a guy whose 8 of his 9 wins are knockouts.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a good matchup in a sense of he wants to stand with somebody, but he's fighting a guy in Daniel Frunzo, 9-2. I said he's out of Romania, contender series guy, has good hands, like you said, John. It's got power. The guy is looking to take your face off.
Yep.
He's a guy who's gonna try and push the pace. He tries to get up in your grill. Daniel has shown a little bit from what I've watched, kind of struggles in the grappling department. When guys really want to get him against the cage, try and take him down, all that stuff. He's kind of struggled there, but he's still young in his career. Essentially, I think he's only 30 years old or something like that.
Yep.
But so he's like right in his prime, but he's young in his fighting career, because he hasn't fought a whole lot. He's fought the bigger guys like Reese McKee, or I should say the taller guys, longer guys, and shown success because of the pace that he pushes. He gets in your face, and he is looking to take your head off. He even admitted, like, after his contender series win, which a guy he went out and knocked out.
Vadim Kutsi.
Yeah, that one was going actually pretty well. And
17-1.
Yeah, that Kutsi guy he fought in contender series. It was that I went back and rewatched that fight. It was a pretty good fight, but Daniel was just getting in his grill and decided, okay, this is what's happening.
Yeah,
and we're gonna take your face off. I think this is going to be a fun fight in the sense of Reese is finally getting a matchup to where I don't think he's going to get grappled or big brothered in a sense of being taken down and outstrength. He's going to be able to stand on the outside, or at least try to, but he needs to but I think with Daniel, against Daniel, he needs to pick his shots because Daniel's just going to keep coming. But Daniel has shown he can be a sniper. When he finds that opening, he goes for it and usually lands on your chin. And if you get hit by Daniel, you're going to sleep.
It sounds like the easiest path to victory against Frunza is to take him down.
Yes.
He's been submitted twice.
Yeah, from what I've seen, he does struggle in the grappling department. His takedown defense, in most fights he does. He's pretty well on the cage, fighting that off. Yeah. But if you do get him down, he has struggled, with giving up his back.
Reese isn't going to get him down.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I think it's going to be, everybody's going to be standing up, and someone's probably going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun matchup, though. I think Daniel Brunzo, he's a likable guy from his interviews and everything like that. But he's so confident in his interview. He was like, the lady was like, hey, how does it feel getting your first, Contender Series win? And he said it feels, I just went blank on the word I was going to use. Familiar. He said it feels familiar. And she was like confused by it. And he goes, it feels familiar because I've been dreaming this. And I'm so trapped in my mindset of I'm going to be the best that I wasn't surprised by this. And I like that answer he gave because it shows me like, all right, he's got a right head on his shoulders. He's going but he's a likable dude. He's not too cocky. He's more confident. He has the confidence that he's ready to go out there and has the tools to do what he needs to do. This one's going to be fun. Really, I don't know what the odds are on it.
It's like minus 155 Frunza.
Yeah, I would be picking him too.
Yeah.
Just the power stance of it is, I mean, the guy's got, some people are just blessed with, bricks for hands, and he's got them.
Yeah, we'll see obviously the transition from knocking everybody on the regional scene to the UFC it affects people different.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Some guys they're him.
Oh yeah.
And he may be him.
Maybe. I think it'll be a fun one to watch.
Well, all right, I'm going to move on to mine. Speaking of somebody who thinks he's him, who isn't, in my opinion, Robert Valentin versus Torres Finney. This is the first fight of the main card, according to Tapology. Obviously, if you watched The Ultimate Fighter recently, Robert Valentin. He was the runner-up on the Ultimate Fighter this past season. And if you remember that fight against Ryan Loder, who Ryan Loder is a really good wrestler. He was like a T1 wrestler. But that fight kind of it tells you what you need to know about Valentin in a sense. And what I mean is that Valentin, he spends a lot of time on his back.
Yes.
And not, I guess not just on his back, but he likes to have scramble fests with people. Like I'll take risks and I'll end up on my back, and then I'll sweep you, get on top, back and forth, back and forth. He has these crazy fights like that. He does have some fun knockouts because he does throw elbows and he does throw spinny stuff, but he's just kind of reckless. He's like this. What's the saying? Like death or Valhalla, or he's like big Norwegian or big Viking guy and stuff. And he fights like that. I mean, he wants to have a crazy back and forth war.
I like him. I think I kind of like him.
He's fun to watch for sure. But like in this matchup, Torres Finney,
he's a wrestler.
If you've been watching the Ultimate Fighter's sister promotion or whatever, sister show, you'll know Torres Finney because he's fought 3 times on the Contender Series. The first one, all 3 of them he wrestled.
Yes,
but the first one, he got hurt so bad multiple times.
Yep.
Kept going. This dude is probably, like, no joke, probably the physically strongest middleweight MMA fighter. Period.
Maybe.
Every takedown, in all the fights I watch of his, almost every takedown, he picks the guy up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, just a little trip or like a single. He picks them up. Every one of them. And by the way, he's 5'8" and he's middleweight.
That's wild.
He was a former D1 football player and wrestler at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. 75.5-inch reach. Robert Valentin, 6'2", 77-inch reach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a 6-inch height difference and a inch and a half reach.
Long ass arms.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then shockingly, they brought him back to the Contender Series. He wins again via wrestling domination decision.
Dana was not impressed with how he wins.
And I don't think this Cam Rouston guy that he fought was very good either.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't even, the guy he fought, before that, Yuri Panfarov was hurting him and dropping him, and Rouston didn't even hardly touch him. I mean,
no.
And then some reason they brought him back again in the same season.
I think I remember the second one they brought him back. Dana was like, "Hey, you got to show that you really want to be here," because he was wrestling and essentially laying on him. He wasn't doing doing much. And then he came out and got the ground and pound,
Yeah.
Because the guy's got big. I mean, the guy's a big dude. Like, he's short and stocky. Got long arms. He's got power.
He's the craziest looking person ever.
Yeah, it's wild. But he can he can throw hands in the sense like he's got heavy hands,
yes.
but he doesn't know how to throw them. He doesn't know what to put together.
It's overhands. Overhands. Step into the shot, pick the guy up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is a weird fight because, I mean, Valentin, he has the ability to catch him with something and put him away. But Finney, he gets clipped and he does this stumbling around, but he always finds a way to get to the guy's hips and pick him up and throw him down. My big problem here with Valentin is he just spends too much time on his back in all of his fights, and I think he's gonna spend most of the fight on his back in this fight, because you're not just gonna simply get up when Torres Finney's on top of you. Odds -215 Finney. I think that tells the whole story here.
Yeah,
Finney's either gonna get knocked out in first 30 seconds, or he's going to hold Valentin down.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for me there. I don't like either of these guys long-term potential, but I think I'm probably going to lean Finney to hold him down for the whole fight.
Probably. That's probably, obviously the odds are that way. That's Finney's game plan. Everybody knows it. Valentin has to know that. This guy is not going to stand up with me. He's going to throw an overhand and take me down. Try to take me down.
Yeah.
So, that one's, I'm just not a fan of Finney's fight style. No problem with wrestling, but you got to be doing some damage, and most of the time he is.
I don't even think his own mother is a fan of his style.
Yeah, it just lays on him. But, that one, cool to see. I like Valentin in the sense of I like his persona and, and his striking and all that stuff. But, I don't know.
His fights are wars a lot of times.
Yeah.
Even outside the UFC, they get bloody and nasty, and he enjoys that. But all right, moving on. Next fight of the main card is over to you.
All right. Mine for me, I've got Gerald, GM3, Mearshart, which I can't remember.
Do we even need to talk about this one? Is there anybody listening that doesn't know who these guys are?
Oh yeah, they know who they are. Guys have been around forever. Fought everybody. Tough guys. Mearshart obviously is. He's got how many fights? 22 fights in the UFC.
Yep.
He's 12-10. The guy can. Is his chin there? I don't think so. If he gets connected with, I don't know. The guy's good on the ground, but sometimes you get a Mearshart that's just there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just there to collect the paycheck at this point.
Yeah. I think a lot of times when he gets hurt on the feet, part of it is like I'm going to fall down and maybe they'll come into my world and I can submit him.
Yeah.
I don't even know how bad he's really hurt sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird. Obviously guy's got a shitload of fights. Older guy. Fighting Brad Tavares. I think he's 15. He's got 25 fights.
Since 2010.
Yeah. Been fighting forever. 15-10 in the UFC. Brad's a tough dude. I think he's lost 4 of his last 5.
Yep.
Yeah. Last win coming off of Chris Weidman. He has been knocked out in, I think he got knocked out there.
It's like
Bruno Silva.
You go to decision with Trickus, and in the next one you get knocked out by Bruno Silva.
Yeah,
like that's weird.
He's another guy where I'm just like, man, you guys have been here so long. At this point, I think it's just, I'm just gonna keep raking in the dough.
Just what they do, man. They're just UFC fighters. Like,
yep, just keep coming, and he's a tough guy. Although, let's see,
he seems to get. He's starting to get hurt a lot more.
Yeah, he gets hurt a lot. He doesn't. His output is.
You can back him up.
Yeah.
To the fence.
Mm-hmm. It's just so low.
But Gerald doesn't really do that.
Gerald's not a push the pace kind of guy, get in your face kind of guy either. So maybe a little stare at each other from across the cage. I don't know. Although I am going to go with Brad Tavares in this fight.
Minus 260.
Yeah, I just think he's a tougher dude. Probably got the better hands, heavier hands. It's just a battle of the oldies.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who they are. It's okay. These guys are fighting.
Put them in there. Who really cares who wins?
Yeah, and then they lose. Are we sending one of them out to pasture, if not both?
Yeah. Yeah, and real quick, I forgot to mention this, and I just want to because the line movement is crazy on this my prelim storyline.
Yeah.
Alan Carr and Demopoulos. It opened plus 130 Demopoulos.
Oh.
Minus 150 Alan Carr. And it was at one point all the way back to minus 150 Demopoulos, and now it's about even, but they open Alan Carr a huge favorite. They're not huge, but significant favorite over the
and people
1-1 girl.
Realizing, okay.
It bounced way back the other way, and now it's back to the middle. So I just wanted to mention that. You basically, if you're listening to this now, you basically missed your chance to hammer really either side because now it's evened out.
Yeah.
So sorry, I don't know if you had any more on
No, everybody knows who they are with Tavares and Mearshart.
I'd say Tavares is going to kick his leg off and just straight punch him, throw some jabs.
Yeah, agreed. Tavares gets a dub in that one.
Yep.
But then, might see world killer Mearshart. You never know.
He gets knocked out by Mearshart. All right. Moving on to a heavyweight matchup. Pretty interesting one, in my opinion. So this is the first of the 3 ranked fighters that we're talking about on this card.
3.
Only 3, which there was only 3 in Mexico also, but the matchups were better than these.
Yes.
And I'm talking about Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Martin Budai. Kennedy, he's the 15th ranked heavyweight right now. Obviously, we know he was former 205er, moved up to heavyweight. He's 2-0 at heavyweight, but I don't really know how much you can actually take from those 2 wins. The one with Chris Barnett is too fat to jump high. He blew his knee out before the fight even started. And then Kennedy fought Lucas Brzeski, who I think, and they call him Dresky. I don't know where John Anik gets this crap from. It starts with a B, but Brzeski, I think, depending on who you ask, he's pretty good or he sucks. But Kennedy got hit plenty, and it only lasted 4 minutes 51 seconds. Kennedy is very flowy and he's patient and he takes his time and he moves, but sometimes it's almost just a little showy and not. It's like form over function type stuff because he'll just move his head right into and he'll just get hit. But so when I was watching tape on these guys, I was drinking some Captain and some Pepsi, and I wrote Loosey Goosey versus Tidy Whitey because Kennedy is, like I said, real loose and flowy. Budai is big fat white guy from Slovakia, and everything he does is just tight, and he just throws everything really hard and just isn't athletic whatsoever. Now, the reason he's not athletic is because he used to play video games for 20 hours a day, and he weighed 375 pounds at one point.
Damn.
Yeah. So obviously, and then he started doing jiu-jitsu to lose weight, and now he's a fighter. And he's quietly he's quietly 5-1 in the UFC. And it's just, he's a bully.
Yeah.
He's not very athletic. He's not very fast. He's not that technical, but he wants to bully you. He wants to get in your face and beat you up. He gets in there with Gaziv and just honestly was like a deer in headlights. Gaziv started backing him up and he freaked out. He didn't know what to do, to the point to where DC in the next fight against Arlovsky said Budai was outclassed and he made a decision in the Gaziv fight. He was getting backed up and bullied and beat up, and he found a way out, basically. That's what he was saying. And I also wrote down, isn't way faster than Andre, which is shocking. I mean, really. They were their punches were paint drying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Kennedy's just he's going to be way too fast. Now the big maybe a big problem here is their last weigh-in, both of them respectively. Kennedy 236.5, Martin Buday 264.5. Kennedy, he's probably still growing into the heavyweight frame. Like he may weigh a little more, but there's going to be a weight difference here, for sure. But Kennedy's just a better athlete, and he's a more well-schooled striker, more well-schooled than a great sentence. Just has more tricks in up his sleeve. Really, Buday maybe cage pushes him, holds him up there. I don't really think he's gonna be able to take him down, and I think
he's gonna have to make it dirty.
Yeah. Which he can. I mean, he's that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Kennedy's going to be a little too clean for him. We've seen Kennedy get slept though by weird stuff. So I don't know. Not real high confidence on this one. One thing I do want to say about Kennedy, I found this on the UFC stats. Largest comeback in light heavyweight history. Now comeback meaning per significant strikes, like biggest significant strike. Differential to win, basically. Minus 64 versus Carlos Ulberg.
Oh, shit.
He was outlanded by 64 significant strikes, and he knocked him out in one. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in there because it's interesting. But, I don't know. I think Kennedy's going to just be moving and touching and outclassing.
Yeah. He's definitely a more crisp striker on the feet. And
minus 260, Kennedy. Plus 220, Buday. Again, don't have a huge opinion on this. We'll see. I mean, this is a step up for Kennedy, obviously, from Chris Barnett and Lucas Brzeski. I think Buday, 5-1 in the UFC, is a decent little step up, but I think he may touch him up, get him out of there.
Yeah.
That's all I got on that one.
That fight, I like Kennedy. I know you and I like him, and it's pretty fun to watch. I always say he looks like the bad guys from the Scooby-Doo movie, the live-action one. The one with the aliens with the long ears. Yeah. I think
Kennedy looks like that.
Yeah, he looks like them. That's what he reminds me of.
Okay,
because they're long, lanky, and I don't know their facial structure.
Buday looks like a bad guy from what's those movies where they go to Europe and they get kidnapped and
Hostel or something.
He's like he's from Slovakia. By the way, I think he's only there's only 2 fighters from Slovakia in the UFC.
Oh, okay.
I think him and Ludovic Klein.
Huh.
Shout out to Slovakia. All right, your turn.
All right, mine is guys you probably haven't heard of. I've got Cortavius. Are you not entertained, Romeus?
That's his nickname.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Are you not entertained?
That whole name just does not work good, in my opinion.
He's fighting Chang Ho Lee.
The aforementioned road to the UFC.
Yep, he's a road to UFC guy. He's 10-1. He's 1-0 in the UFC. Romeus is Contender Series guy. He was 1-1 in Contender Series, or he's 1-1. But
born in St. Louis.
Born in St. Louis. So shout out STL.
Bolaños.
Yep, he lost in first time to Ramon Taveras in Contender Series.
Yep.
Got slept real fast.
Yep.
Went back, won a couple fights, was invited back, and beat Michael Imperado by decision on the Contender Series. He's 31 years old. Cortavius is he's 9-3. This is his record. He's a big pace guy, athletic, has power, will get absolutely bonkers wild when it comes to striking. This guy is jacked. I mean, Body City.
Yeah.
He got beat up by Bolaños. Or Belarios, I think.
Bolaños.
Yeah, Bolaños.
Who is like a Muay Thai guy. Like, that's his thing.
He got absolutely beat the fuck up by him. His problem, he's a guy who will like to wrestle. He pushes the pace, but he's got a real gas tank issue.
Big jack guys. That's
all that muscle needs a lot of oxygen. And he gets, blows his load real fast. But he's so athletic. He's going against a guy in Chang Ho Lee, road to UFC guy, super tough. Like most Asians, they're those guys. You have to literally cut their head off to win.
Yeah.
They're tough guys. He does push a pace, which could be to his advantage. He likes to push a pace.
5'4" versus 5'8". Romeus is 5'4".
Yeah,
I didn't realize
he's
that
a
short.
real small guy.
Wow. Okay.
But he's so jacked. Like they were showing him after the fight when he got beat up by Bolaños, and I was like, I didn't know you had muscles there. Like I know I'm a fat guy, but holy shit, I didn't know you had muscles on your hip bones that could protrude like that.
Right.
It was weird. But the guy he's fighting in Chang Ho Lee, like I said, tough, will push a pace. Apparently, absolutely loves to be taken down. Can be taken down. The guys he's fought in the UFC, in the Long Zhao guy, it was a split decision.
So I
went back and watched that fight. Yeah, it was supposed to happen a couple times.
Yeah, it was canceled twice.
Yeah. I went back and watched that fight, and from what I thought he lost the fight.
Really?
Yeah. Hence why it was a split. I thought Long Zhao, it was a battle of who was the toughest and who took each other. They took each other down. It seemed like every 2 seconds someone was on top. They'd punch each other, grapple. But to me, I thought Chang Ho Lee was getting his shit kicked in. Like it just to me, I thought it was like, dude, you're getting your ass kicked. Like anytime on the feet, he would initiate a takedown or try to end up on his knees and like just trying to not get hit.
So Lee was 2 for 9 and Zhao 2 for 5.
Yeah, it was mainly up against fence pushing, elbows off the clinch and all that stuff. But it was really not that productive of a fight. It was Chang Ho Lee got tired as well. I just think against Romeus, a guy who is, I think he older than Chang Ho Lee.
31.
Yeah, he's 31.
30.
And 30. So he's not much older, but he is light years ahead of him in the athletic department, strength department.
Yeah. He's
got power in his hands. I think Chang Ho Lee, the only thing really what I see for him is he's going to out-tough him. I can get hit like most Asians. I can get hit. I'm tough. And he probably has the better gas tank. I would guarantee it. Like I said, Romeus, he gets tired, and he said he'd be working on that. I like Romeus. He seems like a real cool dude. He was sleeping on the floor. He just moved to Seattle.
Oh.
Picked up and moved to, I think it was Seattle, or maybe
he's from Milwaukee, or he says he trains in Milwaukee.
Maybe it was Milwaukee. I was
fighting out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, he left St. Louis and went to Milwaukee. He said just one day decided to get in his car, packed up all his shit that all could fit in the back of his little car, drove to Milwaukee, and there he is now. He was sleeping in an apartment, broke as hell. He was happy because he's like, now I can buy a mattress. He was sleeping on the floor in his fucking apartment.
Yeah.
So,
there's a couple. I was looking through that gym. There's a few guys in the UFC, not any huge names, but
yeah,
Montel Jackson probably the biggest name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, he's fighting. He's definitely got tools in the sense of physicality and athleticism. I'm picking him to win because of that. Because what I saw with Chang Ho Lee, I just wasn't impressed. He really was. He was a punching bag that kept moving forward.
Romeus a dog. Plus 126.
And I think, and I'm not surprised by that because of the gas tank of Chang Ho Lee.
Yeah.
Chang Ho Lee did go the full rounds, and it was a pace that would make it. I mean, I would have died.
Why is this on the main card?
Because it's a Apex.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they think one of these guys, maybe the winner of this, could do something, or
I don't see it, but I love to be surprised. I would be having other fight.
Yeah, like Davey Grant and old Willie Cat Santos.
Yeah, I would have that on there.
Card. Yeah,
or even the Reese McKee could be on there.
Yeah,
I would have that one up there. It's just this one's
It's weird, man. It's weird the way they do the order.
I think I got Cortavius. Are you not entertained, Romeus?
That just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from that one. I got the co-main. a guy that I really like versus a guy that I don't think anybody really likes stylistically. Maybe not as a person, but Joe Anderson Brito versus Pat Sabatini. Brito, he's a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He is somewhat technical. He can grapple, and has a little bit of striking technique, but more so than anything, he just gets in your face and kicks your leg off, throws bombs at your head. He kicks your leg to the point where sometimes it explodes, and they have to stop the fight, like he did against Jack Shore. Now, he has been taken down a little bit. Like Jonathan Pierce spent a lot of time on top of him.
Mm-hmm.
Pierce does that. I mean, Pierce did that a lot in his UFC career. He ended up choking him out. I thought William Gomez, he lost to Brito. I thought Brito beat him, as well as 10 out of the 13 media members on MMA Decisions had it Brito winning.
Yeah, I remember that fight.
It was in Paris, so believe it or not, the French guy won.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Let me fact check that real quick.
I think it was because we did
Moicano Saint Denis card.
Yep. That we were talking about that. We did it from home. Episode from home.
Oh, okay, yeah, remote, yeah. He's fighting Pat Sabatini. Sabatini grapple. Yeah. He's really good at getting to your back, and he's pretty dangerous. He's also a Marquez MMA, Sean Brady, gym, I believe. At least he was. Renzo Gracie, Philly, I guess, I don't know. They said on one of his fights recently that he trained out of there. He may have moved.
He's from Bristol, so.
Yeah, Bristol, Pennsylvania. Yeah. He just isn't a good striker. And I think you could look at this like skill set wise and say, okay, Sabatini can get to his back or take him down and just top game him. And you wouldn't be wrong. The real problem here to me is that Sabatini is chinny.
Mm-hmm.
Damon Jackson front kicked his face off. TKO'd him. Diego Lopez obviously got him out of there in a minute and a half. Just flurried him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the good thing here, I think typically if you're fighting a guy like Sabatini, you're going to stay patient on the outside, and you're going to say, I'm a better striker than him. I just got to avoid the grappling.
Mm-hmm.
I think the good thing here for Brito is that he's actually not going to do that. He's going to walk him down and beat him up and just rely on defending the takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he may get taken down, but he's going to get up at some point, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he doesn't get choked out. He's going to get up, and he's going to walk him down again. He's going to beat him up again. He's not going to play around on the outside, touch. And I think that's a good thing, because I think, as we see a lot, maybe he gets the first takedown, and then he works real hard for the second one. Maybe gets it, maybe doesn't. And then the third one starts getting harder and harder and harder. And he's just going to get beat up every time in between, to the point where I think we're going to see Brito knock him out.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I honestly see it happen fairly quick.
Yeah. Now, Sabatini, he does he competes in grappling. Like, he is really high level. He's competed against Herbert Burns and Nico Price, Bruce Leroy, Caceres. He's competed against these guys in grappling competitions, similar to Sean Brady and Piper, these guys out of the same area. They all do that. But I don't think he likes getting punched. He is, and yes, I'm picking all the favorites in this card. minus 200 for Brito, plus 170 Sabatini. I think that makes sense. Brito's also, I think he's kind of like a low-key aura guy, too. And I believe in Brito a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's not just all crazy war.
Mm-hmm.
I think he actually comes in there with a game plan, can execute. He beat William Gomez. William Gomez, karma, lost to Hyder Emil. So, yeah, I like Brito as a fighter. I'm a fan of his, and I like him in this fight. I think we'll be seeing him in the top 15 shortly.
I agree.
So that's it for me on the co-main. Not really the best co-main that there's ever been, but
true. I mean, really, the card's not the best we've seen, and for the main, for me, we got Josh Emmett which his nickname is CCO.
Never heard that.
I've never heard it announced. I don't even what does that mean? There's just CC0.
Zero, I think.
Yeah.
But I think they just announce Josh Emmett. I don't.
Yeah, I've never heard of that nickname. So
Yeah.
everybody knows who he is. The guy's 40 years old.
Yep.
He's fought some of the best in the world. He's beat some of the best in the world. Has got knocked out by the best in the world. I think. We just know he's a guy who's going to go to war. That's what he's there for. He's an overhand puncher. He loves to. He's going for a knockout every time. Obviously, we know he's coming off that big knockout of Bryce Mitchell, sending him into a different realm.
That's a while ago. December
2023. That is a while ago. And probably due because of his age. He's trying to.
Well, he's always had layoffs for a long time.
But he's fighting Lerone the Miracle Murphy. Guy's 15-0-1. He actually called for this fight. Called out Emmett on his last win after he beat Ige.
This was 8 versus 10, so that makes sense.
Yeah, he's calling it. Lerone's trying to fight his way up and build his way up. Lerone's definitely the more crisp striker. He's a well-rounded guy. The fight with him and Ige, he beat up Ige, essentially. And Ige's that guy's been around too. He's fought everybody. Tough dude. But he put a hurting on Ige in the sense he was faster, more crisp. And Ige's pretty good on the feet, a good boxer. He did get dropped early by Ige.
Yeah.
Which can be scary. But I think Ige is even a better striker in a sense, a more crisp, technical striker than Emmett.
Yeah.
So he may be able to get away with these looping punches that Emmett loves to throw. He's probably going to be a little slower too than
I think
Murphy.
Ige's faster than Emmett for sure.
Definitely. So he did get dropped early. He recovered well, came back and ended up just winning every round and beating up Ige. The thing is, there's no getting dropped by Emmett.
No.
If you get dropped, there's no getting back up. You're sleeping. But in that case, I just think Lerone Murphy's going to win this fight. He's the better technical striker. He's going to be quicker. He's younger, obviously. Emmett, love the guy. Go to war. Heavy. He's a tough guy. He's fought the best. But I think he's just going to get outclassed on the feet in this one.
I was not a Lerone believer for a while. He had some close one against Gabriel Santos, but I've been so impressed with him.
Oh yeah,
lately.
No, I was. I really, especially after the Barboza and Ige fights.
Yes,
I was like, holy shit!
I'm pretty sure I picked Edson to beat him.
I think we both might have, but I remember just thinking, holy shit, this guy's pretty crisp, and I thought he was like a jack of all trades, master of none, which he still, he is a jack of all trades, but I think he is becoming a really good striker. And I think the difference between him and a lot of these guys is he's like a game planner. Like he has a game plan. They all have game plans, but like he executes a game plan better than most guys do. And he can also, we talk about filling holes. I feel like I've used this analogy a few times, but if someone has a hole, he can fill it. Yeah.
He no matter what it is, wrestling, grappling, striking.
For sure. And he, like you said, he executes a game plan, even if it doesn't go necessarily to the plan.
Gets back to it.
He gets right back to it. Hence, he got dropped early by Ige. No one's expecting to get dropped, but he did early, and he recovered well, came back, and then put a hurting on Ige.
Really good cardio too.
Oh yeah, his cardio is great.
Didn't he get shot?
I'm not sure if I'm not sure.
Or stabbed or something. It was either shot or stabbed. He's from England. I'm pretty sure he got stabbed, like when he was way younger.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's why his cardio is so good.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No, but I think Lerone Murphy's going to get it done. As long as he can stay away from those heavy shots that Emmett's going to throw at him, I think really he's just going to put a hurting on him. Not necessarily say he's going to knock out Emmett, but Emmett's going to be cut up.
We've seen Emmett get beat up and get tired because of it.
Yes.
You know, he's not like doesn't have bad cardio, but like Taporia beat his ass, and Emmett was like huffing and puffing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see Lerone land a lot.
Oh yeah,
and
Emmett's he might not put away Emmett because I don't think Lerone necessarily has crazy power or anything like that, but he's gonna pepper the shit out of Emmett.
Yep.
And Emmett's gonna tough it out and all that, but he's gonna lose. It's probably gonna be a decision.
He's gonna be getting beat up at every head, body, legs, and then he's just gonna look for that big bomb.
Yep. And he may get lucky because, like I said, you don't get just dropped by Emmett.
Yeah. Minus 330 Lerone.
Wow.
The bookies are believing
too.
too.
So I mean, that'll be fun. I like you said, I've become a believer of Lerone Murphy as of late. So
yep. Anything else on that card?
No, I mean, like we said, it's kind of a lackluster. I mean, it is a fight night at the Apex. That's probably why it's at the Apex. There'll be some fun. We'll see. There's potential for some fun fights. You know, like your Demopoulos.
I don't know if that'll be fun or not, but it'll be something.
But I think we're probably going to see a few knockouts in this card, I would say.
Yeah, I think we could see quite a few finishes, actually.
For sure. And if we get the most boring card, boring fight, it's probably going to be the Finney card, or Finney fight.
Finney fight.
Yeah, especially if he wins.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Just my opinion.
I think he's going to take him down.
Yeah, I mean that's all he can do.
True. He could. I mean, if he got the striking going, like technically, he could hit hard. I mean, he does hit hard, but like he could finish some guys. I feel like, but okay, let's dang, we've been here a while. Let's go through this PFL card real quick, and then I'll just go real quick through the rest of the events coming up this weekend. But obviously, if you're listening, you know what PFL is. Their first event is this Thursday, actually, and it's the featherweights and the welterweights. I know you looked into this one a little bit. What are some of the ones that stand out to you? I'm guessing obviously the main event.
Yeah, main event, obviously, you know, it's a fun one. Jason Jackson's kind of had like a little resurgence here as he's gotten older. He's fighting that Andrei Koreshnikov. Koreshkov.
Former Bellator champ.
Yeah,
back in the day. Didn't he fight like Askren?
Yeah, he lost to Askren. He lost to, who did he lose to? As like fairly recent.
Lima back in the day, at least.
Umatolov.
Magomed
Umalatov.
Yeah, I mean he's fought Lorenz Larkin, Goiti Yamaguchi. Well, Lorenz Larkin twice, beat him once. Douglas Lima.
Yeah,
Cheaty
beat Cheaty.
Ben Henderson. I mean, he was kind of the man back in the day.
Oh yeah,
and he's not a Russian wrestler either.
No,
he's a striker.
That'll be a fun one. I know Logan Storley's there. He's fighting that Magomed Umatolov.
Yeah, so Jesus Pinedo, he actually is a former $1 million, regular season playoff winner. And he's fighting Adam Borix, who, Borix has been around a long time in Bellator. He's got some highlight reel shit on his resume too. Really fought a lot of the guys on this. I mean, some of the guys in this, but Jeremy Kennedy fought him, beat Pico.
Yeah, Pico that around that time went on a real shitty run.
I was gonna pull up the actual brackets. I mean, we can go through the card itself, or we could. I hate how they do that. So yeah, Jason Jackson and Koreshkov. It's kind of a gnarly first rounder.
Yeah, really.
Loser is done. I think Jackson. I don't know the odds or anything, but I'm guessing Jackson's gonna be the favorite.
I would assume.
Probably gonna beat him up. Storley, Umilatov. That's a pretty. You'd think they would split those four up.
Yeah, just
to start.
I don't understand the seeding and everything with it.
One second. I'm not actually even that familiar with the other 4 guys in this bracket. Okay, well, so Bakar, he lost in 30 seconds to the aforementioned Robert Valentine on the Ultimate Fighter, but he just got caught with one elbow. I mean, that was it. Masayuki Kikuri, that's who Bakar is fighting. 2-0 in Bellator, okay. Fought a lot in Pancrase. A whole shitload in Pancrase. So I'm not real familiar with him. He has so 7 of his 10 wins are knockouts. Bakar is a striker as well. That'll be interesting. And what was that last one on there? So he's got a different opponent than this graphic, it looks like. So Berkamov and Thad Jean, I guess. Was it Berkamov? Yeah. So
it was supposed to be, I saw Zendelli had pulled out.
Yeah, so Muhammad Berkamov. I mean, I know it's Berkamov. I don't know how you pronounce his first name.
Muhammad Berkamov.
He's 17-2. He's been around a while, and he's beat a lot of good guys. Beat Ray Cooper. Beat Jesse Taylor back in the day. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. He hasn't fought a ton in Bellator PFL, but he's a pretty sure a Dagestani guy. Thad the Silverback Jean, his new opponent, was supposed to be like on here for like non-tournament fights and stuff. 4-0 in PFL, 1-0 LFA. Doesn't have a bunch of big names on his record, but he's won another. I believe he's from the U.S. actually. Okay, we'll see. He's probably gonna end up spending a lot of time on his back in that fight.
More than likely.
And then real quick, we'll go through the featherweights too. I mean, like I mentioned, Pinedo versus Borix. Pinedo, I think he was probably like nobody was expecting him to win that year in that tournament, and he beat some names, I believe. Out of Peru, another Peruvian guy. Like I've been talking about these Peruvians. Beat Gabriel Braga, who we'll mention here in a minute. Bubba Jenkins, Brandon Loughnane.
Some good names on there.
Yeah, and that was all in that same tournament, I believe. Yeah, same year, 2023. I mean, those are tough dudes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Braga, he's been to the finals in PFL, hasn't won it. He had that story last year or the year before where his dad, who was like his coach, died during the season.
Damn.
He won the fight after that. And I was crying and all. It was a big story, obviously. Had a big viral win over what was his name?
Beat Jesus Pinedo.
Marlon Moraes.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Moraes.
Yeah, he's beat
twice.
Pinedo.
And you lost to him. Fought him twice, lost one.
Yeah. I mean, he's beat Chris Wade, beat Bubba Jenkins as well, beat Jeremy Kennedy. He's fighting Yves Landu, who I'm not familiar with.
French dude.
Yeah, French guy. 6-1 in Bellator. Okay. A bunch of guys I've never heard of. Okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of decision wins on his resume, unfortunately. We'll see. These are 45ers, so decisions aren't the craziest thing ever. But Jeremy Kennedy, UFC vet, Canadian, but might as well be Dagestani. Wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
He's fighting Movlid Kabulev, who has that jump knee knockout over Damon Jackson in like 12 seconds, who was kind of dominating. I mean, he's won the million before, but hasn't fought since June 8th, 2023. Like he was basically...
Damn.
He was on his way to the finals there, pulled out against Gabriel Braga, and hasn't fought since. And that was after him winning the million against Chris Wade in 2021. So he was on fire at that point. Hasn't fought since.
I wonder what the injury was.
Yeah, doesn't say, but had one grappling match against James Gallagher and is now coming back. I think he's probably still like the favorite here.
Probably.
He's fighting a dude who wants to wrestle all the time, but he's a Russian who can wrestle.
Yeah. They're born.
And then Nathan Kelly, Tae Yun Kim, I'm honestly, I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Nathan Kelly out of Ireland and Tae Yun Kim out of South Korea. We'll leave that a mystery. We'll see when we watch it. But yeah, I mean PFL. I like that. I was a big supporter of the regular season and playoff thing at first, and then I got kind of tired of it. And I got tired of people pulling out, and
then you run the points thing and all that shit.
The bracket makes more sense to me.
Yeah,
I'm a little. It's the matchmaking is a little weird, but obviously, you got to make the big fights too. You can't make everybody that's big name fight somebody nobody knows. So
sure.
I guess I get it, but I don't know. You got what else you got on this? Anything?
Yeah, no. I think obviously then some of the names we know. I've seen Logan's fight a couple times. Storley, Jason Jackson. Will his resurgence keep going? Jesus Pinedo. Will he bring himself back? I think it'd be fun if we see a vet like Jeremy Kennedy. We'll see what he does. The PFL, the bracket, I am a better fan of than just the whole regular season thing.
Yeah,
it's a little too hard to do with fighting. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. Thursday and Friday is kind of a weird timing aspect.
Thursday and
or
Friday.
Just Thursday,
yeah.
I think. Sorry, I was getting mixed up.
GFL. Yeah. No, listener, if you can't watch this on Thursday, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, what else you got going on Thursday? It's on ESPN Plus, I believe. Yep, ESPN Plus. So watch it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, no,
back
I'm
to the
down.
old school tournaments like back in Pride and K1 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hammer through these other events really quick. Also, on Friday in Shawnee, Oklahoma, actually.
Really?
Not too far from us. Invicta FC 61. This is on CBS Sports Network. Atomweight title fight, 8-2. Alessandra Ferreira versus 10-3-1. Anna Palacios. That's a 4-fight win streak versus a 3-fight win streak in the title fight. Australia's Jamie Abenden versus Jackie Cataline. Abenden, she's a former pro boxer. And Cataline was 2-2 in PFL and 1-0 in Bellator. And then also on this card, 2-2 PFL, 1-0 Bellator. She's 1-0 in Invicta, and she's 1-3 in Power Slap.
Oh shit!
So,
what are we doing?
you have a worse record in Power Slap than MMA. That's weird to me.
That's just terrible for your chin.
Yeah, and then also on this card, former UFC fighter Emily Ducote, who I thought got robbed against Vanessa Demopoulos. I thought she beat Demopoulos. She didn't. They didn't give it to her, and they cut her.
Ouch.
So she's on this Invicta card as well. Friday, One Fight Night 30 from Bangkok. This is on Amazon Prime. Heavyweight Muay Thai title fight. Ukraine's Roman Kriklia, don't know, versus England's Lyndon Knowles. So this Roman, we're going to call him, the Ukrainian guy. He's been the kickboxing champ in one at heavyweight since November 2019. Now he's fighting for the Muay Thai belt. It's weird. It says that he is the Muay Thai champ, but he didn't fight for the Muay Thai belt yet. So it seems like they just
carry their champ status over.
They just they said, "Here, you're the champ." He's fighting this Lyndon Knowles guy. He only had a couple fights on Tapology. Tapology doesn't always keep up with the Muay Thai and the kickboxing and stuff. He may be good. I don't know. No idea. Also, welterweight kickboxing title fight. Suriname's Regian Earsel versus France's Alexis Nicholas. This is a trilogy. They're 1-1. Earsel won the last one.
All right.
Earsel
Shout out Suriname.
has a resume. This guy
Really?
has fought Cosmo Alexander, Joe Natawat, Smoking Joe.
Yeah.
Brad Riddell, Anthony Njokwani, Nikki Holtzkin.
Okay.
All those guys.
All right.
He's fought him. And then also just notable names fighting in Muay Thai fights on this card. Sidichai, Saxon, Asa Tenpao. If you're a big MMA fan only, you're not going to know who that is, but they're guys from Thailand that are really well known in the Muay Thai world.
For sure.
Per usual, there's a bunch of Muay Thai fights on this card and kickboxing, so which is not a bad thing.
No.
Last but not least, Sunday, UWC Ultimate Warrior Challenge, I believe is what it stands for, 56 in Tijuana. A lot going on in Mexico recently.
Yeah. Mexico's.
This on Fight Pass. Middleweight title 17-2. Naib Lopez and 7-2. Alfonso Leyva, also 2-4 UFC vet. He was 2-4 in the UFC. Johnny Munoz Jr. also on this card. That's it.
That was a lot of news.
A lot of news. This show has been so long, but there was a lot to talk about this week. So.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on anything?
No. Fights coming up here on that Fight Night card. It is a lackluster card. That's probably why they should keep those kind of cards at the Apex.
Yeah.
There's some fun fights. This past weekend was fun. I'm excited for these big pay-per-views coming up.
2 weeks. Miami.
Yeah. Shit's gonna be wild. So I'm excited for this year. And I think we're good, man. I'm ready to go and I'm excited for Kansas City.
We got like 4 weeks till Kansas City, April 26th. We don't have a main event anymore.
But they'll throw something in there. If it's Derek Lewis, I'll be happy with it.
They'll make it work. Just there's no main event, so to make up for it, you got to let us meet the fighters. And stuff.
Yeah,
we'll make a deal.
Yeah, sign us to a deal, and we'll be all right.
We'll meet all the fighters.
Yeah,
and we won't bitch anymore about the main event falling off. All right, let us know what you think of any of the topics we've covered in the comments, or anything on the show today. Let us know. Let us know that the show's way too long if you think it's too long.
Yes.
So, I agree. All of our socials and everything in the description. And thanks for watching.
All right. Peace.
We'll see you next time.